the reigning MVP, Pat Mahomes, still playing on his rookie contract for the Chiefs in training camp this week in St. Joseph, Missouri, where Mike Garafolo and Steve Mariucci took him practice today and spent some time with QB1 after it.
Everybody that we talk to, Patrick, all the pundits are talking about how does Patrick Mahomes get better in his second year starting after such a fantastic 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, MVP season. And I tend to answer that as it's not about those individual statistics. It's growing, learning defenses and blitzes and protections in your own offense better and all those other things that may or may not show up in statistics, hopefully show up in wins. But the expectations for you are very high, Patrick. Did you know that?
Yeah, for sure. And you said it exactly right. It's not all about the statistics. It's not all about the stats of how many touchdowns or how many yards you threw for in the game. It's about going out there and how you play the position and how you go out there and lead these guys and how you go out there and win football games. It's all about being consistent in this league. It's not about the big play every single time. I mean, those are nice, but at the same time, just going out there being that quarterback each and every week to put your team in position to win every game.
Yeah. How much is it, this offseason when you're so close to where you wanted to be, you get to training camp, now you're starting officially on the 2019 season. How much does that help you kind of put that behind you but still have that fueling you this season?
Yeah, it was motivation, I think, over the off season of just going out there and just making sure you get that extra workout in. But as I got closer and closer to the season, you kind of have to erase those thoughts and you use that stuff as kind of a learning experience. I mean, we got to be in a game against they ended up being the Super Bowl champion and the Patriots, and we played them right down to the end. And we made a lot of mistakes that game that we have to improve on, and we did some success that we have to keep maximizing. And so for us, just using that as a learning experience. But every single year it's a different year. You have to go out there and earn it, and we're going to go out there as a day-by-day process trying to get back and try to get to that Super Bowl this year.
So let me ask you this, because we were up here on the hill. I mean, you look like a little ant out on the field there. We didn't get the close-up view, so we didn't get to see practice close-up. So I'm watching most of it on Twitter the last couple of weeks and videos. You're throwing left-handed into the net, and some people might say, oh, he's just out there goofing around. That's serious stuff to you, right? Because you might need that skill set at one point, right?
Yeah, I always mess around trying to do stuff like that. Hopefully I never have to throw it left-handed again. I mean, if it happens, it happens, and hopefully I complete it again. But all that stuff with the no look and throwing across my body and all that stuff is stuff I'm working on. I mean, I'm trying to see if I can make these throws. I'm trying to see that I can still put our team in the best position and not hurt us. And that's stuff that I work on each and every practice so I can utilize in the games.
I'm going to talk to you coach to player, okay? And you talked about getting better this year.
Leave?
No, you can just listen, okay? The quarterbacks spend more time in the off season around here than anybody, right?
Yes, sir.
You need to because of the position. When you did your cut-ups and you looked at last season, let's say you looked at the red zone reel, okay, and you go through it with a fine-tooth comb.
Yep.
What did you learn about your red zone that can get better?
I think just not going for the dagger every single play. I think that's the biggest thing as the whole field, not even just the red zone. As I have to still keep that mentality and be aggressive and go out there and attack.
Touchdown, check down.
Yeah, exactly. Just making sure that I take that check down, move the chains, and take what's given to me and not necessarily try to make a scramble highlight play every single time.
Okay, good. Another one, you go over your blitz reel. All the pressures are coming from overload blitzes, throwing hot, all that sort of thing. Check in when you have to. What did you learn from that session?
I think I learned the most from the mistakes I made last year. I mean, I think the best thing about us being a great offense last year is we saw a ton of different defenses.
Yeah.
People were trying to figure out what they could do to stop us, and so there was stuff that I saw that was exotic that I didn't expect and that got me during games. And so kind of filing that in the memory bank and knowing that when I come out this next season I can see it maybe an unscouted look and still know what to do in order to protect it.
That kind of layers of information for you, that's going to get you better fast, because you really didn't have that last year.
Yep, exactly.
You really didn't have that. It was a different quarterback playing.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, Alex was great, but it was a different type of offense last year, and defenses were throwing different stuff at us that we hadn't seen before. And so you look at both those Patriots games, they played us completely different ways. And so just seeing how they went about it of trying to stop us, and I figured out the ways that we found success in the end. It's stuff like that you have to learn for going into this season.
Yep. How about from a leadership standpoint? I mean, what did you learn in that regard, and how much further along are you in that department right now?
I think just learning when to talk and when to kind of let guys learn on their own is a big thing, especially out in these training camp practices. When do I need to go out there and be vocal and kind of get on these guys and make sure that they push themselves to be the best they can every single day, and when I need to let these guys work through it on their own. As you not only go out there and play games, but you just learn each and every personality on this team. I mean, I've built great chemistry with pretty much everybody, and so I know exactly how people respond to things, and I try to get the best out of everyone every single day.
Do they listen a little more now? I'm sure they listen a little more.
Yeah. When you come to work every single day, I think that's the biggest thing. And the best thing about this team is it feels like every single person is coming out here to be better, so we can each talk to each other. I mean, those guys will get on me if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I think if you have that constant communication, you can be the best team you could possibly be.
All right. Well, listen, Patrick Mahomes, thank you for spending some time with us. Stay humble.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Work your butt off. I know you will. Have a great season, okay?
Appreciate you.
Thanks a lot, man.
Yes, sir.
One of my favorite guys to watch in the league, if not my favorite. But can he do again this year what we saw him do last year? Say hello to Andrew Hawkins, a 6-year veteran wideout, and Marcel Reese, a 4-time Pro Bowl fullback in the league. Forget the numbers, guys. The 5,000 passing yards and the 50 touchdowns. Don't want to get bogged down in that. Will he look the same this year? Or are we expecting year 2 to play out maybe a little bit differently than it did year 1 as a starter?
I think it's going to be tougher for him to repeat the way he did last year, just because in the league, when you come on as wild as he did and he was really lights out, teams now have an offseason to game plan for you. They look at what he's doing, and he's the kind of player with this skill set that is hard to limit. But what you do is you don't attack his weaknesses. You attack the weaknesses of his schemes, of his blocking schemes. You get pressure on him. And I don't care what quarterback you are, when they put pressure in your face, it's harder on you. And I think we'll see a lot from him this season.
I think he'll have a great season. I think as a whole, their offensive numbers will go down. But personally, I think Pat Mahomes will have a better season than he did as a football player last year, just because of some of the things that he was saying as a leader, as a quarterback, and as a teammate in this interview is absolutely remarkable for a young player. I mean, pretty much is really just his second season really being the starting quarterback of the team, of a great team, an explosive team, and he says all the right things as far as being a leader and helping his teammates move along with him.
So you're not only not expecting a step back, you're expecting a step forward.
I am expecting a step forward as a football player as a whole.
What
not numbers-wise, but I think it looks better. Maybe less interceptions. I think even more efficient. Learning when to throw the ball away. You know, things like that. Protecting himself even more. Less sacks.
He's a tough guy.
I think it'll be a great year for him.
Yeah.
I'm wondering where the holes are in this game that a defensive coordinator could attack.
Again, I don't know if it's a scheme. It's more of a blocking. It's the off the line. It's that mindset. What you got to do is keep him in the pocket. Right? And it sounds crazy. Let him beat you from the pocket, because when he gets outside of the pocket, he gets those momentum plays, and his team gets hyped up, and the crowd goes crazy, and he's throwing no looks and 70-yard daggers across the field. Like, that's what you got to do. Keep him in the pocket. If he's just throwing 10-yard first downs, you can try to limit him a little bit. And again, he just has that skill set that is tough to stop. So limiting him is the best you can do.
He's got a lot of weapons with which to work again.
I think Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill and those
best
guys,
tight end in the league.
They'll have a little bit to say about that.
Another quarterback we're keeping our eye on, the one in Baltimore, Lamar Jackson.